and we're going to get this thing going. So, the last several weeks, you guys, I have heard multiple of you in our conversations bring up to me that, and this is how, like, literally everyone has said it to me. They're like, I need to be more intentional with my food logging, or I need to be more intentional with planning my workouts again, or I need to be more intentional or focused on my goals. Those are the two words that I heard from many of you in the last like 2.5, 3 weeks. And so whenever I'm hearing things multiple times from you guys, and I really slow down and listen. Because there's likely a theme that I need to be hearing, or that I need to think about, or that I need to speak on. And so I heard that piece that I need to be more intentional on A, B, or C from like a half a dozen or a dozen of you in the last 3 weeks. So I would have been thinking about that, meditating on that for the last couple of weeks as well, knowing that I was going to speak on this on our next coaching call. And when we are refocusing and we're choosing to be intentional on an action, what does that really mean? Because as we're working through things, we all have sometimes different language in our head for sometimes the same words. And so I wanted to be like, okay, I need to actually explain to you guys, in my mind, what I'm thinking about when I'm hearing that from you. And so, one, to me, it means that it has value to you. And so when you're bringing something up and you're saying, I need to be more intentional on this, or I need to refocus on this, or I need to think about my goals more on that, it means that this has value to you. It takes up space in your mind and your heart. And that as you are choosing to take action on the thing, that it has real value. And so remind yourself that as you're saying, oh, I need to be intentional on this. That means, oh man, this does have value to me. This does have value in my life. It must have an importance that it's drawing my heart to the attention of it. It must have importance since my mind keeps being turned to this. Because life has a way, right, of, oh, there's always life. That's the reality. But when we're always going to the life pieces versus choosing to live the abundant life that we can live, that takes an intentionality and a focus on, looking to that thing that's pulling your heart, right? So two, it actually means that you have forward thinking. And forward thinking is huge. And this, when I heard you guys saying this, my mind and my spirit kept saying forward thinking to me. And so that was actually like, I had a notes page ready to write a bunch of stuff down for this over the last couple of weeks, and I didn't really get anything written other than forward thinking. And I talked to Brendan's one of my elite level clients. He's not in here right now, but I talked to him about forward thinking last week. And so I'm excited to have him dive into this call too afterwards, because this is going to help him even go deeper into this forward thinking piece. And so forward thinking is important because you are understanding that without that intention that we just talked about and that focused action it takes on the thing that has value for you, that it won't come to fruition, or it'll take a much longer time period for the thing to come into fruition. And so it has value, and that you have understanding of the intention and the importance of that intention. So what is now? It's like you have to stop and think, like, okay, well, what is forward thinking? Forward thinking is your ability to see past your current circumstance. That's what it means to me anyway. And so if we always say like, oh, life came up, but if the current circumstance is right in front of you, of you have struggle A, struggle B, struggle C, all the things in life that get in front of us that can get in the way of our intention, we have to have that ability to forward think past what's right in front of us and able to see what's the most important to us. And that's where our mind becomes so important. We have to be able to continue to forward think past. Now, that doesn't mean perfection in the moment, but it means that everything we're doing is somehow, some way, continuing to push that needle in the right direction towards our goals, ambitions, and dreams, right? And so forward thinking is also a form of your self-belief. Because if you can see past your current circumstance right in front of you, that hurdle right in front of you, then you have some sort of self-belief in the vision, in the mission of your life, because it keeps pulling you that way. You keep being pulled in that direction. But we keep the reality is we're going to be met with that confrontation. And I talked about that in that quick little video last Wednesday. Is what do we do when we hit the confrontation? How do we respond to that? And when I was talking about, the answer in my heart was forward thinking, was self belief in what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And so forward thinking is your ability to dream the future. And that right there is so key for us, is that we have to have the ability to dream the future. Where do you really see yourself in a month? Where do you see yourself in a year? Breaking that all down and dreaming that. Now, remember, guys, connect the dots, however you want to say that, of it's not just about the health and fitness, all the areas of your life, right? Of dreaming the future, every single one of those areas that really matter to you. Health and fitness is one of the gateways to help us in all the other areas, in our relationships, in our businesses, all of it. Okay, so keep reading between the lines there. Okay, so forward thinking is your ability to dream the future. And so I have a quick story on this, on how this was really connecting with me at the same time that you guys kept on talking to this. So I'm not just speaking about this, but I've also been living it as well. And ironically, Katie talked to me about this as well here a couple weeks ago. So I know there's several of you on the same piece. And so it was probably 3 months ago or so. I've been wanting this car for a while, and I've been dreaming about having this specific car. And I had to really get over a mindset hurdle in my mind. And much of it was just the way I was raised. And that's not a shot at my parents or anything like that. It's just the way I was raised. And I mean, even to this day, of just not spending money on things that are not needed. Like it's not a need, you don't buy it. And it's just, I think a lot of us were probably raised that exact same way. But I was dreaming about this car, and I happened to be driving. I was training on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You guys, when I'm slow at getting back to you, I'm training my in-person clients on those days. And so I was in one of the gyms that I train some of my clients at, and I was driving to another gym that I work out at and film some of my content. And I drive by this little car dealership, and my dream car is sitting over there. And I'm like, no way, like you never see those. And I'm like, I'm going to go check that out when I get done working out. And kind of deep down inside me was like, you're not even going to go look at it when you're done working out. But I got done working out, and I'm like, dude, just take the 5 minutes and go look at the car. And I was like, you need to go look at the car. So I drove over there quick, and the car was gone. And I'm like, of course. And a guy pops out, and I'm like, hey, I saw that you had that, like, this green Hellcat on your lot, like literally an hour ago. Did you guys sell it already? And he's like, oh no, I have it in the back. We're washing it up. And I'm like, do you mind if I look at it? And he's like, yeah. And he throws me the keys, and he's like, yeah, go fire it up and go look at it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go back there and I jump in it, and I just start it up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and just like dream about this for a minute. Like I actually need to envision like this car being mine. So I sat there for a few minutes, like whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm washing this up and vacuuming it all up today. He's like, why don't you come back and test drive it? And I'm like, okay, like you're going to let me drive your 700 horsepower car? Like I'd love to. So I went back with my wife and my kids a couple of days later, and I'm like, we're all going to get in this and drive this thing. So we drove it for, 10 minutes and took it back. And I had no intention of buying that car. It was way too much than what I wanted. But I needed to actually dream the future. I needed to forward think and stop thinking in such a small mindset that I couldn't have something that nice. And so even though like it wasn't that car, I had to put myself in an environment to dream past what I could do it. It's all the mindset, and so much of what I'm always talking to you guys about. And so several weeks go by. I'm looking at some other cars that are popping up. Well, another one happened to pop up literally a couple blocks down from where I test drove that one. Half the price. Amazing. A few years older, half the price. And I only talked to one of my clients about it. And it's ironically Jess's dad. And he's my wisdom guy. He's like my 74-year-old client, 73-year-old client that I should probably be paying him. And I only talked to him about it. He's like, you need to go check it out. And so I go over and I look at it and I'm like, I kind of want this thing. And that was on a Thursday. On Friday, I'm sitting right here at my desk and I'm kind of conflicted of like, I'm going through it in my mind of am I worthy of it? Can I do, all of the things where we hold ourselves back? And he happens to text me. He has no idea. He happens to text me. He goes, well, and I go, well, funny thing you text me. I'm literally sitting here thinking if I should drive an hour up and, go test drive the car. And he goes, he literally says the exact same thing that I preach to you guys, what I say on my social media. And he doesn't see that stuff. And he literally goes, people want to follow somebody who is willing to risk it to grow. And I'm like, needed to hear that. That's what I say to everybody all the time. So I get up off my butt, I drive an hour up, I check out this car, and I decide like he texts me back a couple hours later and he goes, well, again, and I text him a photo of the car. And I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. And he goes, good. People want to follow somebody who's willing to lead by example or something of that sort. So I screened it because I'm gonna print it off and I'm gonna put it in the frame right here. And it really helped me then fully come into an understanding of what I've been saying. And I believe that's how the world works oftentimes is if we're going to say things or preach things or whatever, we then come into a lived experience of it where we have that fork in the road of, oh, now I have a lived experience of understanding this and I can choose to walk in what I believe or not. And so that to me is this ability to forward think. And when we continue to just get to forward think and then have the opportunities to have these lived experiences, to have the opportunities to dream our own future. And all of you have that ability to stop and sit tonight and think about all of the things and go deep into your heart and be like, what is it that my heart really actually desires? And now I'm finding all these other things of like, oh, like all of these things with my kids and all of these things with my kids as friends and the community that I lived in. And I'm like, it was like this stupid car was an unlock to my heart to then start seeing a bigger picture in my life. It had nothing to do with the car whatsoever, but it had everything to do with breaking down a limited mindset and stepping into an abundant mindset. And when I say abundant, I don't just mean money. I mean in a richer way of thinking that what is possible for your life, what is possible for the impact of your life, right? And so as you're dreaming the future tonight, as you're dreaming the future over the coming weeks, just allow your heart to open and really feel what are those desires of your heart that you're able to dream, that you're able to see, forward think into, and continue to connect into, and just let it happen. And then have that self-belief every time you run into that hurdle. You have that self-belief to continue to forward think because you've already felt it in your heart it to be true. Right. And that it just continues to spin, and you're going to have the lived experience. And every time you have that one little lived experience, it is that enough peace to be evident in your life to continue. Does that make sense? As much as I hope it does in my own mind, I hope it does for you. And I know we get into some of the deep stuff, and it's always like, oh, I might have to go back and re-listen to that. I mean, that's part of it too. And so a lot of times when we hear things, they don't even connect with us until weeks down the road, and you live something, and then all of a sudden you live something, and you're like, oh, that's almost how it always is for me. It's usually never right on the bat, but it's like, that's what he meant. And so I'm excited here too, as well as we get weeks or months down the road of hearing some of your guys' moments when we're talking about dreaming the future. So I hope that serves everybody tonight. And I will keep that. That's pretty solid, you guys. 19 minutes. That's a long sermon. What do you think, Josh? Was that a pretty long sermon? That wasn't too bad. Okay.
I mean,
Are you long?
I am usually about an hour, hour and a half.
Oh
So
dang, 19 minutes. Yeah,
yeah,
your congregation would be stoked. They'd get out of
listen,
there.
listen, bro. We both listen to Damon, so we know how long Damon goes.
That's exactly right, dude. All right, you guys. I hope you have an amazing Independence Day weekend coming up. And I just challenge and encourage everybody in the room to dream your future. It's super important. And we all have that freedom to do it. So, what a perfect timing of the week, too, of what, 4th of July represents for us individually to have the freedom to dream how we want to dream. What a big deal. So, you guys have an amazing rest of your week. I look forward to talking with you guys as always throughout the week, and we'll keep it rocking. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yes.